I don't.
If we're going every other like we have been, it'll probably be sharp.
Okay.
Because Ryder went the second game.
Okay. Yeah, each guy's got 10 starts, so.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see which one says, hey, playoffs around the corner, it's mine then.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can do the every other playoff.
It does get tough when you get to the must-win games. Yeah.
And I don't know if Charlie gets the nod because he went through it last year.
Possibly.
But it's not like Ryder hasn't earned a spot. He's
No,
done very well also.
Yeah, I've been just as impressed with him as I was with Charlie last year. So. Yeah. Jenison's lost 9 in a row. Yeah, I know. 2 and 19 on the season.
So, Chris, we were texting yesterday with the mono bug going through. I said, well, it could be worse. We could be up against Forest Hills or something.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They're going to get out of the system. Let's do it now.
Yep. Good Wednesday afternoon and welcome into Griff's Georgetown here on the corner of Bauer and 48th Street. I'm Matt Gajtka and this is your East Hockey live stream. We're back at it for the OK Conference Tournament Tier 2 this year as East Grand Rapids comes in as the number 5 seed out of the Roo Division. So the top seed in Tier 2 in the Roo Division, they'll take on the 8th seed from the Fisher Division, the Lakefront Division, Lakeshore Division, the Jenison Wildcats. We'll be here all week as East is guaranteed 3 games like every other team in this event. Second annual event, hoping to make this new tradition in West Michigan high school hockey. East Grand Rapids coming off of a successful trip downstate, across the state, to the downriver area of Greater Detroit as they were in the MIHL Showcase last week in Trenton at the Kennedy Recreation Center. And EGR picked up a couple of victories on the road as they first downed Midland Dow last Friday 3-0 in a game that honestly the final score flattered Midland Dow, I would say. And then EGR picked up a shootout win against St. Clair Shores, much more competitive game last Saturday before heading back home and getting it going in what does feel like a true postseason scenario, even though these games are considered regular season. Of course, last year, East was in the Tier 1 bracket, and they won the Ron Baum Trophy, the inaugural Ron Baum Trophy for postseason champion of the OK Conference. This year, well, you can still play for a trophy. It's just not the big one. It's not the one that you wanted at the start of the season. But still, much to be accomplished for East Grand Rapids. Much to be built as they get ready for the regional playoffs in a couple of weeks' time. And no better time to test your mettle than in a tournament environment like this. As for the Jenison Wildcats, they've had a tough season. They just have a couple of victories on the year. They're 2-19 overall for head coach Jack Williams, and they have dropped 9 in a row coming in to this one. Last year, these two teams met in the first round of the Tier 1 tournament, and East Grand Rapids came out of there with a 3-2 overtime victory as James Albers scored very early into the first overtime on the power play. Albers had a couple of goals that night. Oliver Owen had the first goal for East Grand Rapids, but Jenison rallied back with 2 in the second period. East, you might recall, won all 3 of their games in the OK tournament last year in overtime. The first game against Jenison, just 1 overtime. Against Caledonia, 2 overtimes. And against Granville, that thing went to 4 overtimes before Porter Brooks, or excuse me, it was Nolan Brooks who deflected in a Porter Brooks shot from the point. So the Brooks brothers hooked up to give East a trophy and give them a championship in the OK Conference, the first of its kind in the postseason. Like I said, stakes a little bit lower this year, but of course you only get 25 of these games in the regular season, so they're all big in high school hockey. And anytime you get a chance to try to win a tournament, obviously you want to do so. You want to go as far as you can. So he's trying to get into that winner's bracket here in Tier 2. If they do win today, the Pioneers will go on to play at Griff's West in Holland on Friday. And they'll play the winner of Hudsonville and Grand Rapids Christian. That'll be a 6:30 puck drop at the Blue Rink on Friday. If they lose, they'll be still at Griff's West, but at 7 o'clock on the Red Rink against the loser of Hudsonville and Grand Rapids Christian. The starting lineups being announced by Eric Zane, the PA voice of the Grand Rapids Griffins. So good to have him in town here in the village of Bauer, technically. Located just north of Hudsonville, just west of Jenison. So this is a de facto home game for the Wildcats. This is their home rink, although usually they play most of their games on the west rink. We're on the east rink today. Slightly more intimate venue, but still here at Griff's Georgetown, which is one of the best facilities for ice in the entire West Michigan region. So always good to pay a visit to Griff's Georgetown out this way. East Grand Rapids, their starting goalie today will be the guy who helped them to that OK Conference Championship last year. It's the sophomore Charlie Finch. So Finch will apparently oppose Robert Voles, who was a backup last year for Jenison. As for Charlie this year, he's gotten 10 starts, just like his counterpart in net, Ryder Owen. And Charlie on the season has a 2.17 goals against average and an .867 save percentage. His record on the year is 6-4, as East comes into this game with a record of 12-9. Just about set for the drop of the puck. First things first, though, we got to take care of the national anthem. Star Spangled Banner coming up in just a moment, and then the puck drop here on the East Hockey live stream. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would all please rise and remove your caps. Active and retired military may keep their hands up while rendering the military salute as we play the national anthem.
The Tier 1 portion of the tournament got started here yesterday. Byron Center, Mona Shores, Granville, and Caledonia all advanced. They'll play Friday right here at Griff's Georgetown. Meanwhile, West Ottawa, Catholic Central, Rockford, and Reeds Puffer all were relegated to the losers bracket. The best they can hope for is 5th place, as all those teams finished in the top halves of their respective divisions. The Rue, which is based in the Grand Rapids area, and the Fisher, which is on the Lakeshore. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is the East Hockey live stream. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have coverage of the OK Conference tournament all week long. Hoping to get out to Holland on time on Friday, but I'll be doing double duty for Catholic Central and East Grand Rapids once again, so barring any scheduling conflicts, we'll put it that way. Great to be here again, though. Thanks to Ethan Rowan for running the camera, as East is dressed in the home whites and Jenison in the traveling black uniforms. Green helmets, green and white trim for Jenison. East Grand Rapids with the gold and blue trim. As we get started with East on the forecheck, coming out from behind the goal and trying to stash up the far boards were the Wildcats. And they just did get it out to center, but dumped right back in by the Pioneers. Colin Warden tries to clear it out. He can't. Deflected in the slot by Bryce Bjornsson. Went just wide on the point shot from Whithill. Up the near boards, whacked out the center by Jenison. Whithill sets up shop at his own blue line, connects over to Jake Gosens. One more pass to Trevor Bird. Bird played it in behind. The leading scorer, Trevor Bird, for the Pioneers. Just a sophomore. Future's bright with him. Heck, the present's been bright for him this year as Bjornsson tries to sneak in for a chance, and he's stick-checked. Ethan Brinker holds it in at the blue line. The hulking senior defenseman tossed it back in deep. Rowan played it back out to the top. J.P. Levan from the bottom of the circle centered it, and that's deflected and cleared away off a partition, and that bounce benefits the Jenison Wildcats. The Wildcats can get a change. Levan gathers at center for East, doubles back. He's got Brinker on the near side. He gives it to him. Brinker snaps it just wide of goal. There is Robert Voles making the save and knocking it away to the near corner. A couple of Wildcats sandwich Rowan on the near side, and it's spun around and out by Jenison. Porter Brooks leading it ahead to Rowan, just in over the blue line, sent it into the corner. Levan trying to get in after it and pull it off the kick plate. The Pioneers are changing behind the play and turned out of the zone by Gabe Arredondo, who's a Zeeland High School student. It's a co-op program for Jenison. Lobbed in, and on one bounce, Charlie Finch gloves and keeps the puck. Mentioned Voles was a backup last year for Jenison, did not play in the game against East Grand Rapids. Voles this season, 4.63 goals against and a .765 save percentage. Record of 1-13. Actually make it 1-14, one of those losses in overtime. Like I said, been a tough year for Jenison, but they can make themselves feel a lot better with a good effort this afternoon/evening. Up the near wing, there's the co-captain Bjornsson. Tossed it ahead, good deflection by Bird into the path of Jake Gosens. Redirected right on goal, and Voles pins it down just in time, just before Bird could swoop in there and get a touch on that puck. Bird, 14 goals, 24 total points this year. Bryce Bjornsson, 12 goals and 21 points. And Ethan Brinker is the third leading scorer on the Pioneers. He has 3 goals. They all came in one game against Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Pulled loose to the left face-off circle, J.D. Menny. He's got a couple goals this year. Menny behind, reverses flow, tried to center, deflected around, jabbed toward the net by Easton Morris, but he couldn't get it on target. Menny flushed it back into the corner. But here are the Wildcats. Landon Brewer clearing it up ahead and in front of the East bench. It'll go far enough for an icing, just barely. Whithill, the sophomore D, back to collect just in case. As far as Jenison goes, their leading point man is Landon Brewer. The forward has 9 goals and 15 total points. Quinton Adamczyk as well, a player to watch. 11 points, including 5 goals. Adamczyk wears number 10. Bjornsson, powerfully off the wall, centered it for Bird. Couldn't get a shot away, but Bird kept the puck in deep below the hash marks. Bjornsson poke checked, and the Wildcats do clear. Chasing after it is Eli Steketty. Steckity, a new face on the Jenison team this season. Back behind the East goal. They haven't spent much time in their own end so far. Brinker got cross-checked a bit from behind, but play allowed to continue on. Ben Atkinson tried to shoot in. It's off an East stick right over to Porter Brooks. And Brooks angles it ahead. Bird trying to get behind the defense. Couldn't quite do it. And Talon Sweetike sends it north for Jenison, but overtaken by Bjornsson. He turns it back the other way. Bryce Bjornsson to the backhand, right to the front. Voles made the save. He held his ground on that near side post. 13:27 to go in the first. The Pioneers have had the first few shots on goal. Testing Robert Voles. Filtered in, Brewer watching Caden Gosens go after it, and Gosens clears. Scoots it out the center. Ethan Heiser circles the wagons for Jenison. Miles Ayler lost it. Levan tenacious on the puck. JP looking for an option. Shoots it, and it hit Rowan inside of the net. Rowan tried to turn it in front, and the puck's tied up in Rowan's skates. Heiser reaching for it. Instead, Levan takes it again. He's had a good start to this game, but the puck drifted away from him, and it's bumped off the near boards by Brewer, and on down it goes. Ayler attempting to pluck it away from Ethan Brinker. Brewer follows on. Ayler and Brewer in on the forward check for Jenison. Can't make anything happen. This is Trip Hoekstra. Hit from behind by Brewer. Play continues. Point shot by Warden. Easy stop by Finch. That's his first save of the game. Brewer tried to knock it by Levan, unable to do so. There's been a bit of an illness going through the East Grand Rapids lineup this week, so some guys might be, say, less than 100% physically, hoping to get through this one, get a W. Brinker can't get down the wall cleanly, but overlapping Easton Morse to keep the puck on the positive side of center ice, but now it's punched back into East real estate. Great lead pass to Pablo Alzamora from Brooks. Alzamora down the left wing. Many tried to take it, but it was deflected away from him back out the center. Alzamora ran into a member of the Wildcats. That's Cody Cutright, who tried to check him. Both men went down. Flicked on the far side, Arredondo. Bouncing puck near wing, and Warden jabs it back to the east line. Caden Gosens connecting on a pass to Morse. He's got 3 Wildcats to beat. Morse to the outside, stepped into the face-off circle. Too many sticks and bodies there, though, and the Wildcats again clear. They're just content to absorb some pressure, are the Wildcats, and try to live to fight another day. But here are the Pioneers again. Jake Gosens centering just under the stick of Bird. Couldn't quite receive that pass. And so it's Sweetike back the other way. Lobs it in again on Finch, and again, Finch looking like a shortstop, makes the play on the short hop and gets the whistle with 11:02 to go in the first. So the Wi-Fi here on the East Rink at Griff's Georgetown, less than ideal. The audio should still be able to come through perfectly, crystal clear, but video, I can't make any promises. West Rink much better when it comes to internet connection, so hoping that East get a chance to play on that side. On Saturday, like I said, Friday, guaranteed to play at Griff's West, which from my memory is also quite good for the internet. Just so you know, some boring stuff to lay out there to start. Herman from the point, shooting, and it's redirected. After that nervous moment, Brooks slobs it ahead, could be a 2-on-1. Bird knocks it to himself down the wing, but Bird run off the puck by Heiser. Still free in the circle. Overlapping Bird, got it right back. Forced to Brinker, near side, D to Brooks. Down low Bjornsson, toe drag. Over and in behind the goal and centered out in front by Gosens and no one home. Brinker's got to retreat for it. The righty shooting D, lead pass, here's Bird, splitting the D, Bird's in, and it's a save made by Voles. It hops off the high glass, stays in play. Bjornsson tries to return it to the point, but Hill was laid off the bench, arriving on the scene, so he had to pull it out to center. He clicks it across to Caden Gosens, who fires it in. 7 minutes into this game. No goals, no penalties yet. It's the OK Conference Tournament, Tier 2 quarterfinal. Hoekstra around the wood to Rowan, all the way across. Gosens, a shot, redirected, still loose. Voles pins it down again. That glove's been active for Robert Voles, the junior, for Jenison. East Grand Rapids coached by Chris Newton in his 8th season. Grant Newton, Kyle Wallet, Peter Stewart, Drew O'Brien, Tim Casey, and John Lefferman are the assistants. Gosens delivers it back to Hill. And of course, East will be hunting its 5th consecutive regional championship later this month. That action will be on the NFHS network, but I should be able to broadcast those games. Unfortunately, that is the pay-for-play network, so you know how that goes. If you're a high school sports fan, you do. Back to the blue line, Atkinson drags, fires, blocked by Levan. Off his skate, though, right over to the other defenseman on the far side, Conant, and his snapshot gobbled up by Finch. No further play. Jaden Conant, the freshman D. Let her rip. East Grand Rapids trying to build off last week. They had the disappointment of losing to Catholic Central on the road 2-1 in a game that was as tight as the score suggests. Offside against Jenison. Linesman was on that to make the call. That game, which you might have been able to watch on the Catholic Central YouTube channel, that game decided who was going to be the final of the 4 seeds in the Roo division that made it through to the Tier 1 side of things. So Catholic Central won that, but then yesterday they lost to Mona Shores 4-2 did the Cougars. Another offside called against the Wildcats. The Roo division, I'll be honest, was just deeper than the Fisher division. So curious to see what the records end up being on these cross-divisional matchups to start the tournament. Here come the Pioneers. Bird bumped off the puck, though, expertly by Brewer. Brewer backtracks behind his goal, flicks it up the near side over to Atkinson, and he tossed it right into the rafters. You heard the clang off the steel overhead. I'm told so far so good with the Wi-Fi connection tonight. It was badly degrading as the game went along yesterday for Catholic Central versus Mona Shores. It's a mystery sometimes. The Wi-Fi gods. Maybe they demand a sacrifice. I don't know, but the Wildcats start with the puck after the defensive zone draw, but losing it on the stick check by Morse. Many returns it to the point. Hill goes across. Caden Gosens rifling the shot. Oh, that missed the left post by a couple of inches. Whit Hill lobs it. That hit the screen, protecting, well, nothing over there, actually. Protecting the spare nets, the spare goal frames, and the Zamboni tunnel. This is one of those rinks that has the netting all the way around. Some do, some don't. This year, Patterson completed the circuit with the protective netting. We'll say this, when I bring my kids to these games, I do feel a lot better about the netting being up even at center ice. Whit Hill backtracking. Angle pass off the boards. Caden Gosens, his defense partner, jabs it through center. And here's Adam Timek taking over. Timek, great pass. This is Meny pulling up. Meny bumped off the biscuit by Rybczynski. To the far corner, Morse on his backhand, trying to use some deception. Off to Meny. Brooks goes over to Brinker. He's open. He shoots. Glove save. Voles. Oh, ricocheted behind him and wide of the net. That was a weird one. Brooks closes. He shoots. Voles the save. Still free and taken out of danger by Sweet Ike, but he can't clear. Brinker kept it alive in the offensive zone. Brinker steps up, tries to pull that puck loose, and does. Took it right away from Sweet Ike. So those two have gone toe-to-toe on the near boards a couple of times. Often it is forward versus D at the blue line. Jenison swats it to center. Levan, quick re-entry. Down behind the net, loose puck. Levan fighting for it. Brinker's going to step up. Can he keep it there? He cannot. It's deflected away and passed ahead by Ayler. Over to Arredondo. Blind centering feed intercepted by Brinker. Atkinson on the charge for the Wildcats. Down the wood, behind the net. Looking for anyone in front. Hoekstra got a stick in there to disrupt it. Conant down the boards. Far corner, Brinker. Won it with a smart stick turning shot, though, from in tight by Arredondo. That missed. Or excuse me, that was Theo Keeley, number 8 in black. No names on the backs of the Jenison jerseys. I'll be honest, the dark green on black doesn't make me happy as a broadcaster, but doing what I can. Once you see these guys for about a period, it does become easier. As Keeley jams it ahead. Charlie Finch stops it behind his goal. I will say, the East Grand Rapids uniforms always easy to read. Makes me, I'll have one less thing to worry about. Trevor Bird pulling it off the wall. It drifts to the middle of the zone in the Jenison end. Steckety. Here he comes. But a little careless with that puck as Hill easily broke the play up. Trevor Bird galloping in again. Here's Bird, a chance across the face of goal. It goes over to Bjornsson. Bjornsson to Hill. Hill to Gosens. Another shot. This time he missed again. He pulled it wide left. Did that just a shift to go. Gosens, can he keep it in the offensive zone? He can. 5.5 to go in the first. Quick moving period. Not a lot of stoppages. Bjornsson twisting it high in the slot. Off the leg of Sweet Ike. And one of the Wildcats got dumped. That was Arredondo. Having a glance down, didn't see who it was for East, but Pioneers trying to amp up the physical play. Bjornsson couldn't make it happen. Heiser winning it back for Jenison with exactly 5 minutes to go in the first. Here at Griff's Georgetown, Hill steps on it and rips the shot. Pad save by Voles. Atkinson reverses the flow of play, trying to get it out. 2 Pioneers are there. Brinker ladled it to Morse. Couldn't make a move to the inside. Austin Host up the near boards with the pass. Sweet Ike connects it center to Arredondo. The right-handed shot, and he's brought down by Brooks. No penalty call there. And it looked like to be the right call. Good no call. Just a good physical play. As many got bumped into the glass in front of the scorer's area. You could hear that over the microphone. Alzamora to Morris, bottom of the circle, waiting for reinforcements. Brooks steps up to it. There's Brewer. Can't clear. Rowan got a piece of the attempted shootout by Jenison, but puck's still up for grabs. Morris hooks it a little bit deeper, but right into the waiting arms of Landon Herman, who ices the puck for Jenison with 3:57 remaining in a rather nondescript first period. A lot of back and forth, but not a ton of prime scoring chances. Trevor Bird's had a couple for East, and 2 or 3 point shots have been on the verge of going in, but that's been about it. Last win for Jenison was against East Kentwood back on December the 20th, so the Wildcats are 0 for 2026. They won that game 8-0. East Kentwood finished at the bottom of the Fisher division. Rolled out to the point, rolling puck remains. Hill couldn't control, so he simply hammered it below the goal line. 3.5 left. Spin move by Brewer, bought him some time and space. Couldn't hook up with Ayler down the left wing. Finch stops it behind his net. There goes Gosens, and deflected right into the top of the crease area. Whit Hill, though, ushered it to safety into the clutches of Hoekstra. And he smacks it off the kick plate, that yellow portion at the bottom of the boards, and back out to neutral ice. Snapped in by Thad Rybczynski, returning varsity member of the Jenison hockey team. Bird to Bjornsson. And Bryce Bjornsson, the senior. To Bird, centering off a skate. And it deflects wide. Jake Gosens. So it's Gosens, Bjornsson, and Bird. As Alex Barnes is unavailable today due to illness. Bjornsson, strong move, strong shot, but Voles fought it off from the left circle. Bjornsson on his off-wing side. Brooks tried to get it through, hit a leg. The Wildcats are swarming the puck. It's bounced down low. Gosens got a little tip on that shot, but Voles handled it routinely. 2:27 to go in the first. The other win for Jenison this year was against the Kalamazoo Eagles, the co-op squad. Jenison actually won 2 out of 3 over that stretch. It's been tough in January, including losses in the OK Conference to Mona Shores. That was just 2-1 though. Forest Hills Northern Eastern, West Ottawa, Reeds Puffer, and last weekend Hudsonville and the Eastside Stars took care of the Wildcats. That's offside against the Pioneers. East Grand Rapids, after losing 2 in a row, they had a tough weekend. 2 tight losses in OK play, in divisional play, 2 weekends ago. Fell 2-1 to both Forest Hill Central and Catholic Central. They got back on the winning track, and since the new year, the Pioneers have picked up 6 wins in 9 games. It's been a trademark of the Chris Newton teams, playing better after the holiday break than before, and here we are again, same scenario. Mishandled out high though. Ayler trying to drive right down the middle, but the puck scooted away from him, in on Finch, and Finch handles. Notice Charlie, when he catches the puck, he likes to flip it up on top of the glove and then hand it over elegantly to the linesman. Hill gave him a tap on the pads. 1:48 left in the first. Both teams in search of the breakthrough. Bird leans in against Arredondo. And who will claim it? It'll be East Grand Rapids. From the near's end, Hill up the far boards. Gosens turned it, and he was just betting someone was going to be there, but it was maybe a foot ahead of Trevor Bird's reach, and it's icing against East with 1:34 to go before the break. And as often happens with the games where we have the warm-up immediately before the first period, the ice is rather chopped up at the moment. Tough to even see the lines. Can't see the lines, can you, Russ? Arredondo against Bird again at the face-off circle. This will be a wait the drop of the puck, a little bit of drama. Snap shot! Good chance from Heiser, but it was blocked in the slot. Never got through to Finch, and the puck's flipped over the low glass, just adjacent to the east bench. And Chris Newton yelling something at his boys. As Heiser had a great opportunity off that clean face-off win. Heiser again back by the blue line. Popped it in below the net. Host just coughed it up. Hill clears. Again, Bjornsson couldn't get there, but here's Jake Gosens on it, and he shoots it. It was a wobbling puck, and he missed it short side. Tough from that spot on your strong side. You really don't have much of an angle. It looks better to you, but your stick is closer to the goal line, if that makes any sense. It's all about what the stick blade sees, if you will, when it comes to that sort of thing. That's why off-wing shots can be more effective. Gosens couldn't get it out. Hit the referee. Into the middle it goes, and deflected by Steketee just wide off the deflection. Last minute of play. Bjornsson looked to put it into the skates of Heiser, but again, it's a 1-on-3 situation, and it didn't work out for the Pioneers. 30 seconds to go in the first period. Popped right back in deep by Caden Gosens. He hightails it off the ice for a line change. Brooks replaces him, and he gets a quick touch right in front of the east bench. 18 seconds left. Couldn't get by the picket fence set up by the Wildcats Brewer, but the Wildcats ice it with 12.7 to go in the opening frame. Looking back at last year's game, both goal scorers for Jenison do return, Sweet Ike and Brewer. East graduated so many prolific scorers from last year's team. It's been more about keeping it close, keeping it low scoring on the defensive end, and trying to win some close games for East Grand Rapids this year. Well, it's as close as it can get through 17 minutes. Bjornsson bangs his stick on the end wall. Obviously, wanted to create some more in that first period, but it's in the books, and we'll go to the second after a 10-minute break here at Griff's Georgetown. Back in a moment on the East Hockey live stream. It's 0-0 between your Pioneers and the Jenison Wildcats.
We'll sing Jimmy Buffett songs for you while surfacing the ice with expert technique and professional.
Well, the goals are set in their moorings, and we're going to drop the puck right away. As of 20 seconds ago, Charlie Finch didn't have a net to stand in front of, but here we go. And off the face-off at center, the Pioneers have to go fish back in their own end. Finch to Brooks, to Brinker, to Bjornsson. Here's a tidy breakout for the Pioneers. Gosens trying to swivel his way in. Instead, it's poked back to Brooks, centering, intercepted in Brewer, and the man with two different colors of skate laces on fires it in deep. He's got, looks like a hot pink on the left skate and a bright green on the right skate. Not many opportunities to stand out when you're wearing a team uniform, but that's one of them, I suppose, in the sport of hockey. Jenison just had a couple of shots on goal in the first period. East had the better scoring chances, but I wouldn't say they had that many glorious opportunities. Room for improvement for the Pioneers for sure in period number 2. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is the East Hockey live stream. Thank you for joining us. Bjornsson driving wide. Bjornsson centering all right off the stick of Bird, and it bounced wide. Not cleared though by Jenison. Gosens tried to change the angle. Brewer still blocked the shot though. And the Wildcats do not ice the puck. It's ruled that the Pioneers deflected it coming out of the Wildcats' end. Rowe into the middle, picked off. Good read by Keeley, but he lost the handle. Keeley tried to get it back. Both times, though, Whitaker Hill was right in his way. Whitaker goes by Whit. I think Whitaker sounds cool, so I like to say it. Maybe once a game. I think I exclusively called him that last year. Hoekstra got in the way of the puck. I thought someone's stick broke. It sounded like it did, but no, everyone's still got their twigs in hand. Caden Gosens, saucer pass. That was almost right on the money to Hoekstra. He's got to grab it on second opportunity. Hill does a pirouette and a backhand. Didn't get a lot on it. Lassoed by Ethan Heiser as he turns back in his own zone. Heiser up the near wall. We're here at Griff's Georgetown on the East Rink. It's the smaller of the two seating areas. East, the top seed in the Tier 2 tournament, coming out of the Roo division. That's offside against Jenison. On the other rink, we've got a game going on as well. Forest Hills Northern Eastern taking on Grand Haven. Grand Haven was the top seed in the Fisher division. Or no, excuse me, East ended up being the 6th seed, so, well, 6th in the Roo, so that's the 2nd seed in the Tier 2, if that makes sense. These are seeds 5 through 8 in each division competing in 3 games guaranteed. We've got a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. The Tier 2 championship will be decided on Saturday as the Pioneers try to get their motor going. That championship game will hold on that as Brinker comes roaring in, and his wrist shot was partially blocked to the end wall by Rybczynski. Brinker, when he gets going down the wing, look out. Runaway train. Ayler across to Atkinson. Clears, but gave it right back to the Pioneers, and it's Pablo Alzamora dumping in. Guys like Alzamora getting more of an opportunity today with some players out due to illness, including Alex Barnes and Owen Runyon. I think those are the two, actually, who ended up missing the game. Heard a couple others were at least affected by the bug. Just hope as a team you don't get everybody down at the same time. Although this week, tough break to get sick because you got to play on a Wednesday. Leaders have had some Wednesday games. Brooks had his pocket picked in the corner by Steketee. He couldn't work his way toward the net. Steketee won the puck back. Brooks took it away. Out with it, Gosens. Nice cut to the middle to pull away from a Wildcat. Morse guns it, cross corner. Bird on it, but lost it as Warden got his stick in there. But Jake Gosens follows up. Still no goals or penalties in this game. Bjornsson bunts it back to the point. Gosens pulls it off the wall. That's Caden Gosens to his twin brother Jake. Now Bjornsson driving inside, and right through the top of the crease he went, but he couldn't control it for a shot. Caden Gosens, good snap pass. There's Bjornsson, but it's blocked on his wrister. Heiser got in the way. Give Jenison credit. They are protecting the house. They're blocking shots. But here's Bird. Open. Score! Trevor Bird breaks the ice. From between the circles, he guns it right between the pads of Robert Voles. And don't stop him now. Trevor Bird's sensational sophomore season continues, and it's 1-0 Pioneers. Time of the goal, 12:40 to go in the second period. And it's that double B connection, Bird and Bjornsson. Even strength goal. And the Pioneers can play from ahead. At long last, we hear the dulcet tones of Eric Zane, the PA man for the Grand Rapids Griffins. He also does the job for the Jenison Wildcats. So he get a little extra boost. Speaking of a boost, here comes Rowan, took the shot. Oh, he had Hoekstra open in front, but Rowan pulled the trigger and it was deflected off the high glass. The Wildcats can't clear it though. Kept in for a shot by Rowan, stop made by Voles. Rebound scoots right in on him and Voles covers up. That close to a second as the line of Rowan, Levan, and Hoekstra went to work. Nears lead at 1-0. Goal by Bird, his 15th of the season. And Bjornsson adds an assist, his 10th of the year, tying him with Bird and Brinker as the top playmaker for East Grand Rapids. Pumped on goal by Caden Gosens. Stop made by Voles. Jake Gosens maneuvering out high, lost control of the puck. And flipped to center by Austin Host. Wildcats are on it. Ayler in the corner. Ayler, a pass right through the slot, untouched. Brewer was there. Brewer, the captain of the Wildcats. Tight turn, trying to find some room. Lost the puck, though. And here's Bird. Steps on the gas pedal, does Trevor Bird. Down the wing, backhand. Oh, my. The pass was supposed to get through to Jake Gosens. It rattled off the leg of a Wildcat and nearly went in. Bjornsson corrals, puts it on goal. Saved by Voles. Voles has faced a lot of shots this year. He's used to getting peppered. Here's Brooks, a shot. Stop Voles. And he pins the puck to the Wildcats logo on his chest to get the stoppage in play with 11:12 remaining in the second period. The OK Conference Tournament, second annual, gets going this week and will conclude on Saturday. So we had the Tier 1 tournament. It started yesterday here on Tuesday afternoon/evening, and likewise for Tier 2 today. All teams will be in action on Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow an off day. Morse taking the handoff from Brooks, pivots to the outside, and he whipped the shot about a foot over the crossbar. Voles couldn't grab it. It didn't matter, it was too high. Brinker, a shot right on target that time, and Voles absorbs and hangs on. Yesterday, Byron Center beat West Ottawa 2-1. Byron Center, the 1 seed from the Rue Division. Mona Shores doubled up Catholic Central 4-2. It'll be Byron Center versus Mona in the first semifinal in the Tier 2 tournament tomorrow here at 5. Granville advanced with a 5-1 win against Rockford. The Bulldogs, boy, they're looking tough this year, aren't they? They've been ranked in Division 1 all season long by the Michigan Hockey Coaches Association. Hill, a shot off the draw. Levan tipped it. The Pioneers were ranked in D3 earlier this season. They've fallen out of that spot. No West Michigan or no OK Conference teams are ranked in D3 at the moment, but plenty from D1 and D2. Caden Gosens took over from his own blue line, skitters it up the far wing side. Herman goes D to D near wing. There's Rowan and Hoekstra, though, and Levan, all teaming up to try to win the puck back on the forward check. Flicked out of the zone by Arredondo of Jenison. Hill on the biscuit. Headman pass, a little bit too far for Levan. And pulled in on the move by Conant. He handed it right back over to Levan. The Nears are on side, well, for a moment. And then Levan backhanded it inadvertently to center. Hill sent it down the wall just about 10 feet before it was halted by Conant. Conant couldn't get it past Hill. Two teams played catch a bit. Sometimes it resembles tennis in and around the neutral zone. Back and forth we go. Bird's goal has the Pioneers ahead. There is Bird. Wanted to yank a backhand pass to Bjornsson. but it was intercepted by Heiser. Cody Cutright for Jenison. Couldn't get it out. Right into the skate of Gosens. Gave it to Bjornsson. Shooting. Saved by Voles. It rattles off and right back to Bjornsson. Turned it back toward the net. Grabbed by Gosens. In front for Bjornsson. Just couldn't receive the pass. He was wide open at the top lip of the crease. Bird a backhand save Voles. Little power forward move from Trevor Bird as he got the entry pass. Resembled a basketball play. Bird on it. Right out in front, Bjornsson got a touch to it on the backhand side, but missed. Bjornsson once more. In front, Bird. Stopped by Voles. Big save to keep it 1-0. Point blank. 8:45 left in the second. Well, the East pressure has been immense in the second period, but they've just gotten the one behind goaltender Voles. Gotta hand it to him. He's been holding it down for the Wildcats today so far. I was talking about rankings earlier. Granville's been ranked all season long, so has Rockford. Although the Rams were knocked out by Granville yesterday. No shame in that, but I know the Rams were hoping for more. Rockford just barely got into the top of the Rue division to make it into the Tier 1 tournament. They had to forfeit a couple of games. But happy for them that it didn't cost them a spot in Tier 1, because that would have been a tough way to end up in the second tier. Icing against Jenison. Other squads that have attracted notice and accolades from across the state: Forest Hill Central, although they're in the Tier 2 side of things. Forest Hill Central plays later today against East Kentwood. The Rangers finished 5th in the Rue, just barely out of the running for the top half. So they should be able to take care of East Kentwood. That's a 7:30 start. And Hudsonville against Grand Rapids Christian in the nightcap on the East Rink following our game. 8:01 to go in the second. Just the one goal on the board. Redirected ahead by the Pioneers. Levan. Rowan tried to run right into one of the Wildcats, Rybczynski. But Rybczynski helped win the puck back. Brewer up the far side. That ricocheted off of Ayler and right to Levan. Pulls up inside the line, but he's stood up by Brewer. Landon Brewer puts in a shift. Not just a top scorer, but he's been very diligent defensively. That's deflected into the East Grand Rapids bench. And the coaches aren't wearing helmets. They had to duck out of the way. That went into the far end. Looks like nobody harmed there. Maybe a spare stick got taken out. 7:30 left in the period. If the East wins, they'll play at 6:30 against either Hudsonville or Christian on the blue rink at Griff's West, just down the road, just off US Route 31 in Holland. Gosens screwed himself into the ice, but he's still continuing to battle as Jake Gosens. Bjornsson plucks it free. Sharp pass back to Brooks. Right back to Bjornsson. Wide open score! Bryce Bjornsson picks his spot, and boy did he ever nail it on the pass from Brooks. The give and go works to perfection, and East Grand Rapids has a 2-0 lead, and Bryce Bjornsson has the skills to pay the bills. He sure does. The usual suspects for the Pioneers striking in the second period. 7 minutes to go, and the lead has been doubled. Voles didn't have a chance on that shot, blistered over his glove hand from Big 7 in white and gold and blue. Jake Gosens stripped at center, led ahead. Brewer couldn't get to it, and yes, Charlie Finch is still in this game. He hasn't seen much action at all in the second, a little bit in the first. Bird and Brooks get the assists. Exactly 10 minutes into the period. It was the second or third time that Bjornsson found himself in a prime scoring area, and given that many chances, I would wager that one of them is going to go in. At least one of them is going to go in. That's hockey sometimes, though. Finishing can come and go. What you're looking for is quantity and quality of scoring chances. Levan takes the shot. That was redirected. And Voles swatted at it with his blocker hand, but it deflected to the near wall. Brewer revs his engine for the Wildcats. Pulls up inside the line. Brewer, good pass in deep. Oh, but unable to take that on the move was Sweet Ike, and it just skidded right in on Finch. And he made the easy stop. I guess technically that's a shot on goal. Pretty sure that would have made it inside the net, but it would have been going all of 2 miles an hour. Last year between these two teams, it was a war in the quarterfinal round. Decided in overtime. James Albers scoring on the power play. Pioneers hoping for less drama as Bird centers. Gosens just jammed it wide. Jake Gosens on the doorstep. Brooks unable to pull it out of his skates. Now he settles it. Re-entry. Porter Brooks hooked it back. Bjornsson cutting inside. Hit the crossbar. That close to 2 goals in just over a minute. Beautiful rising shot from Bjornsson. Brinker whacked it away from the possession of Cutright in front of the goal. Oh, what a save by Voles as the backhand from Bjornsson. He got poke checked at the absolute last possible second. On the setup from Bird, Bjornsson was wide open. Bird tries again in front. That deflects off a Wildcat stick and flicked through center. So close to a 3rd goal for East. They continue to battle. Get that 3rd, it can start to feel rather comfortable. 2, still not quite. Brooks on the move, slips it through. Easton Morse off the bench. Morse gets an opportunity. The puck at his feet. He's crunched by Atkinson. Up the far side it goes. Timek lays the body against Atkinson, but Brewer eludes the pressure. Brewer down the wing, great toe drag, stuff shot stopped by Finch. It might be his first real save of this period with 4:46 to go in it. Brewer down the wood, right to Brooks. Didn't get much on that pass, but Hill pumps it ahead. Oh, Adam Timek nearly there for a breakaway, but the puck just wouldn't behave for him. That got his attention. His eyes probably got big there, hoping for the opportunity. Instead, the Pioneers have to retrieve it behind their goal. Brooks fields the dump in. Morris to Timek at center. It hops over his blade. Just can't get that puck to settle down for him at the moment. Adam Timek, 1 point on the year, that being an assist, so he's thinking about getting off the Schneid late in his first Pioneers season. Rister from Sweet Ike off the bench, that was blocked. Follow-up chance also blocked. As Rowan got in the way, or pardon, that was Hill actually, who got in the way of the drive from Heiser. Pioneers clear. The referee saying it was deflected. The linesman called it, so I think this might be overturned. Face off at center. Yeah, the referee saying somebody missed the call there, so no icing. Face off in neutral ice right on the GV logo for Grand Valley. That's where the face-offs go when the officials determine they've stopped play for an erroneous reason. Best you can do to at least try to even it up. Caden Gosens scales it in for the Pioneers. And that's Grant Griffin getting a touch on it. The puck drifts toward the middle. Hoekstra lost it. One of the Wildcats got a stick up high. It was Theo Keeley, and he was upset about it. He whacked one of the Pioneers as they skated by. Arredondo shooting it, deflected off of Caden Gosens to the far side. One of the few times that Jenison has had some speed and a decent chance off the rush. That chance goes by the boards. The Wildcats change. Up the near side, onto the blade of Trip Hoekstra. Wearing the 16 of his older brother, Charlie. Bjornsson put it in the skates of Brewer. Brewer took the puck away. Brewer's a tough customer. Griffin getting a shift alongside Porter Brooks on the blue line. Hammered it around the wood. And it comes around the horn to Trevor Bird on the move. 1-on-2. Bird inside move. Oh, it came loose for a chance for Jake Gosens, but again, the puck couldn't settle as he tried to stash in the backhand. Icing against Jenison. 2:36 remaining in the second. The Pioneers are starting to assert themselves in this game. Well, they had been this entire second period. After a rather, I called it nondescript first, there wasn't a lot going on. And I always wonder about these weekday starts, especially early in the day when usually you're just getting home from school. Bird goes forward off the draw. Gosens and Bird teaming up in the corner. It's flicked out to the point, kept alive by Brinker. Smooth move, and he left Ayler in the dust. Or a centering play. Brinker pumps it on goal, and a stop made by Voles. Rebound around to the near side. Brooks. That'd have been something if Brinker were to cap that off with a tally. Bjornsson going across. Bird fanned on the shot from the bottom edge of the circle. Bird lays the body against Atkinson. Bjornsson backhand. Pad save Voles. Cleared but not out. Brooks shooting, and that's off of Bjornsson, I think. He tried to get out of the way of it while providing the screen. Bjornsson centers off the stick of Brewer. Bjornsson won it back, and then he knocked down Ayler for his trouble. Icing again against Jenison. Slightly more often in the second period. Not just sticks, but body checks thrown, which could raise the temperature just enough. You'll see Rowan controls the faceoff. Over to Levan. Back to Gosens. A shot. It's loose at the side of the crease. Scooped by Arredondo. Couldn't clear. Hill held the line. There's Hoekstra giving it on over to Rowan and ran out of room at the bottom of the left circle. Hill back to Rowan, half wall. Rowan belted down. He tries to throw a hit back. Puck still bogged down on the near wall. 1:20 left in the second period. See one of the Wildcats, Steketee, laughing actually during that scrum. Play continues. Hill shot it off of Rowan's skate to the near corner. Again, the Wildcats can't get it out. Now they will. Heiser goes cross rink with it. Trying to chase it down. Sweetite got a backhand away, and you heard the save off the goal stick of Charlie Fitch. Cleared up but not out by the Pioneers this time. We're into the final minute of play of the period. Hoekstra managed to angle it out to center, but that's about it. Talon Sweetite right back in to Brewer. Inside out move against Hill. 40 seconds remaining. Backhand pass. Bird got a stick on it, swooping through the slot. And Levan with some time and space at center. Bird going to the net. Levan pulled down. Penalty called by the trail official at center ice. Jenison touches. 23 seconds to go in the period. And our first power play of the game comes very late in the second. It's Jaden Conant, freshman defenseman. Could be holding. We'll wait for the official call to be announced over the PA, but a PP for EGR and a late opportunity to make something happen and grow that lead to 3 goals. Gosens helps control the draw. Gave it right back to Brinker. Closes, shoots, save, Voles. It hopped off his body to the end boards. 12 seconds to go in the period. Brooks across. Bjornsson, straight on shot. Save. Voles again. Well, Voles is piling up the stops for Jenison and its head coach, Jack Williams. Returns for another season in charge of this co-op team. 5.9 on the clock. Bird tied up by Brewer. The puck still in skates in the face-off circle. Brewer breaks ahead, but time runs out on him as the Pioneers committed bodies forward, knowing that the Wildcats couldn't burn him at the other end with time ticking down. That's it for the second. 2 goals on the board for East. And it's Bird and Bjornsson connecting about 5 minutes apart. Plenty of other chances for the Pioneers, but still just the 2 on the score sheet. Back for the third after this break on the East Hockey Live stream. Stay with us. 2-0 East Grand Rapids. I am ready for more hockey. This is the East Hockey live stream. My name is Matt Gajtka, and it's the best time of the year in high school hockey. February begins with the OK Conference Tournament. One more regular season weekend after this. And then, of course, the regional playoffs begin the following week. So, all good stuff. And it all comes to a head in the second month of the new year. Porter Brooks driving down the wing. The Pioneers start the third period of this quarterfinal game on the power play. Brinker, shot score! Ethan Brinker's finally got another one. He had a hat trick earlier this season, and those were his only 3 goals of the year, but that time he got a written invitation to step right into the face-off circle and let fly, and he buries it. Wild Horses run faster. Brinker's 4th of the season. It's a PPG for EGR. Just 18 seconds into the third period. So East makes the penalty to Jenison Hurt, the only penalty of this game. Brooks gets another assist. That's 2 this evening. And that shot smashed right by the glove of Voles. Ethan Brinker. The senior strikes. And sounds like Jake Gossen's got an assist. Bjornsson from a short angle save, rebound, score! Another one. Bird buries from the side of the net. And there be no shelter here. Not at all. The Wildcats concede a couple, and the Pioneers make it 2 goals in 26 seconds. 1 on the power play, 1 at even strength. Bird's 2nd of the game. And he stuck that rebound right into the back of the net. No doubt about it. In fact, the puck ended up sticking literally in the back of the net, just behind that center post. But here are the Wildcats trying to strike back. Sweet Ike's pass blocked twice. Caden Gosens flipped it up the far side wall. Out it goes. So it's 4-0 East, just like that. And that makes it a lot more comfortable for the final 16 minutes of the game. Bounced in on the goalie Voles, who is under siege once more. It's happened to him a lot this season. I never know whether to trust the save percentages, because some box scores don't include shots on goal, and the goalies don't get credit for any saves, but Voles' save percentage was under 800, and we've faced a lot of scoring chances this year as Jenison comes into this game with a record of 2-19. East Grand Rapids, meanwhile, like I said, they've won 6 of 9 in the new year. 2 wins last week in the MIHL Showcase down in Trenton. They're 12-9 on the season. They've poked their heads back above 500. Alzamora, tidy move inside the blue line, but he couldn't make it happen from there, and the stick actually flew out of his hands. So dump back down behind the Pioneers' goal. Charlie Finch gets his blood pumping again just to get back there and get a touch on the puck. He has had some long stretches of inactivity in this game. Brooks centered. Alzamora backhand. He scores! Pablo Alzamora twists it into the net. And he's got his first varsity goal and his first varsity point. Gorgeous goal, in fact. And a big celebration at the bench and here on the home side of the bleachers. And yes, the Pioneers coaching staff wants that puck. 14:54 to go in the third. And the Nears have blown it wide open. And Pablo Alzamora can celebrate his first. And he gets a real legit PA announcer to bellow his name. Here's Bird rifling off the shoulder of Voles, and it's all Pioneers. Well, it has been for a while, for at least a period, but now on the score sheet it reflects the domination. Puck possession for days, and plenty of looks. This is Brewer trying to break the shutout. No sale as he burrowed his way in over the blue line. Back come the Pioneers, Bjornsson. He's got Bird in front, but Bjornsson takes it right to the front, and it's scooted to the near wall. Bjornsson retrieves that, almost like a self-pass in the end. Lifted up off the glove of Griffin. Bird surrounds it. Bird in over the line to the face-off circle, and a blind shot from Jake Gosens just missed. 5-0 Pioneers, 2 in the second, 3 already in the third. The 3 goals scored in a span of under 2 minutes. First 2 were just 26 seconds apart. Finch, a quick backhand play to his defenseman Brinker. Cross corner, and there's Mason Day, sophomore D, getting his first touch on the puck today. Rowan set sail, down the wing, right to the front. Vols the save, loose puck. Where is it? It's under Vols somewhere. Trip Hoekstra hoping that puck would have come loose, but no dice. Well, let's see, who's still looking for their first goal? Hoekstra has scored this season. Levan doesn't have one this year. Adam Timek does not. Mason Day and Grant Griffin don't either, but they've played limited minutes as defensemen this year. But just putting that aside, expect to see a lot of the Pioneers' depth get a chance. Rowan pumps it over the net on a wrist shot. Came right back to him off the glass. Returns it out high. Brinker, he tried to go back to Day, but he tripped and fell down, and it's a 2-on-1 rush for Jenison. Atkinson couldn't get it by Brinker. Ethan Brinker just took away all that space. Flushed in deep by the Wildcats, though. Rowan getting in below the goal line to look to pop it away from Austin Host, and he does. Number 24 in white, Cooper Rowan up the far boards. Hoekstra backhands to center, and Levan couldn't flag it down. Atkinson playing it back, top of the circle. That was a dangerous shot from Arredondo, but it was a few inches over the crossbar. Hard off the glass, back to the point, now sent in behind the goal. Trying to center Atkinson, unable to do so. Too many sticks in the way. The feed to Morse at center, unable to accept that pass from Hoekstra. So here's Atkinson one more time. Shot saved by Finch as he shut down the angle from the side of the goal. 12:19 left in regulation. Pioneers lead it here on the East Hockey live stream. Friday's game looking like it's going to be at 6:30, so likely I'll have to join that in progress at Griff's West. According to my bracket sheet, that'll be on the blue rink against the winner of Hudsonville and Grand Rapids Christian. And that's the next game on this rink. Just after we're done. The first 2 periods just flew by. It's just now 6 o'clock. We started around 4:45. This game could be done in like an hour and 40 minutes. At the most, really, unless something crazy happens. Heiser burrows behind his net. Served it onto the tape of Brewer, who steps back and off his back foot lobs a pass through center that cut right, couldn't cut off. Brooks does. Brooks takes the shot. It's redirected high into the protective netting. Over the tall glass behind the Jenison net. 11:44 left and play is halted. Two goals for Bird, 1 each for Brinker and Bjornsson. The Killer Bees had it again. And Pablo Alzamora got his first as a Pioneer. And yes, they kept that puck. Bird scoots it behind the goal. Bjornsson overskated, one of the few misplays for him today. Gosens delivers it below the goal line to Bird. Aerial pass. Back to Griffin. Good feed to Bird. Shot. Save on his bid for the hat trick. Vols shuts it down. So East Grand Rapids this season looking ahead to Friday. They beat Grand Rapids Christian, which is a possible opponent, 6-2. That was actually our last broadcast on the live stream a couple weeks ago. In that game, Christian started hot and finished not. That's been a pattern for them this season. This is icing against Jenison. My older son Lucas plays on the same team as the younger brother of one of the players on Grand Rapids Christian. I was talking to his mom earlier this week, and she was saying, yeah, she can't remember how many times that the Eagles have started terrifically well and then ended up surrendering the lead later in the game. That's what happened against the Pioneers on the 14th of January at Eagles Ice Center. So that could be the matchup. Also could be Hudsonville. Pioneers have not played Hudsonville this year. Banged off the near wall. Rowan steps up. Hill fires it across. Rowan circles through center, and he's run off the puck, but there's Levan following on. Good puck support. Snapped the shot that missed everything. Hill to it, and some of the intensity from this game is drained out of it after the Pioneers put 3 quickly on the board early in the frame. Brooks, one touch toward the middle. Hill lobs it down deep. Rowan just scooted it wide. Speaking of that game at Christian, that's where Cooper Rowan scored his first goal as a Pioneer. Brooks takes the space, hinge play, down deep, whipped it all the way back to the top of the zone to Morse, covering up for Brooks. Over to Hill, and around the horn. Centered shot by Morse, stopped by Voles. Hoekstra put it on a platter for Morse, and he got most of it. Just didn't quite get it away from Voles, who telescoped out to cut down at least some of the angle. Under 10 to go in regulation. Far wing Warden and Brewer this time. He's drawn up plays in the backyard, just telling someone to go deep. His pass goes off of Ayler. Brinker takes it back for the Pioneers. Gets his legs moving, crossing over and feeding to Meny, to Morris, back to Meny. Over the line, J.D. Meny, the cut toward the net. And he tried to put it on a tee for Alzamora, but did not connect. The Wildcats fly it to center and beyond. Brinker D to Day. Off Alzamora's stick. Too far for Meny, who chases in after it. It was deflected, so no icing. Warden punched it up the near side. Brinker, it was in his skates. Alzamora follows on as he makes his way toward the side of the net, inner edge of the circle, but unable to get the shot away. Halfway through the third, Brinker speeds it across. Day backhands deep. Atkinson with Morse all over him. Wildcats again can't get it out. It's off the skate of Host. Bird, 2 goals in the game. Looking, backhanding across. Bird's also got an assist, so a 3-point effort at least. Take a look at that final box later to get the totals, but just eyeballing it. I've got him for 2 and 1. Gosens freely over the line. Got it right through a Wildcat. Bjornsson high shot. That was off the mask of Voles. Doesn't matter how you stop it. As Bjornsson clears it in front. He had Bird there, but it didn't get through this time. Far side Bird. Bjornsson on his backhand. He's tied up on the joust with Colin Warden. To the point. Rowan a shot redirected by Bjornsson right to the glove of Voles. And number 1 in black and green covers up for the face-off. 7:37 to go. Thank you for watching on the East Hockey live stream. Second year for this channel. Just reminiscing, about 2 years ago was when I called my first East Grand Rapids game. Picked up the Pioneers in the playoffs. First game I ever did was that game against Big Rapids in the regional semi. Bjornsson tries to go short side. Stick save by Voles. More on that in a moment as Gosens wedges in against Rybczynski in the corner. Out to the blue line, bounces right by Griffin. He's got to hustle back, but Caden Gosens is the first on it. That's what a good partner does on the blue line. He clears. Bjornsson back to take it. Up ahead, it's a 2-on-1. Bird's got Gosens. Defender fell down. Bird sticking out himself behind the goal. Put it out in front, though, and it's a score for Bjornsson. His second. Bird's got 2 goals and 2 assists, and the Pioneers lead it 6-0. And Bryce Bjornsson's looking California and feeling Minnesota. Beautiful play in the end. I thought Bird might have overthought it for a second, but he knew what he was doing. He gathered himself behind the net after Rybczynski fell down for Jenison. But the Wildcats couldn't regroup in time. And it's a half dozen on the board for the Pioneers. Bjornsson from Bird, and feel like Caden Gosen should get the secondary assist as he triggered that breakout. This is Cooper Rowan seizing the opportunity. The shot off the pad of Voles, and it ricocheted right by Hoekstra in the slot. I wonder if that was a pass off pads attempt from Rowan, trying to create that rebound for Hoekstra, who was driving the center lane. Brooks right down the alley, makes a man miss, shoots it from a sharp angle in the end, and Voles smothers it and keeps it. Porter Brooks making his presence known with 6:20 left to go. Many wanted to the near wall. Easton Morse couldn't take it. Driven out the center by Eli Steketee. Host stapled to the wall by Day. Oh, and there's a hit from behind on Timac. Oh, goodness, Many retaliates. Austin Host, though, is going to go to the box for Jenison, and I bet we get a little bit more after this skirmish. So it turns a little bit ugly late. You hope that's not the case, but it often happens in a blowout. 5:59 remaining. And Austin Host, sophomore forward, is definitely going to have a seat for a little while. What we don't know is, will this result in an East power play? Like I said, Many came to the aid of Adam Timac, who got crushed by that cross check. I think Many is going to go to the box, but we might have more than one penalty perhaps against Jenison, as the men in stripes sorted out in front of the scoring area. 4 goals in this third period for East Grand Rapids. Brinker, Bird, Alzamora, and Bjornsson. Bird and Bjornsson scored in the second as well. 5 of the 6 goals at even strength. Charlie Finch is entertaining himself with the puck in front of his net. He has not had a lot to do as the Pioneers have dictated play, especially from the start of the second period on. Jenison had a couple of half chances in the first. Even in that first period, though, the ice was tilted. So it appears the Wildcats are going to lose their 9th consecutive game and their 20th of the season to drop to 2-20. It is a major cross-checking penalty against Austin Host of Jenison. 5 minutes on the board. Well, I'm assuming it's a cross-check. That's what it looked like to me. Many gets 2 for the retaliation. That's the first penalty of the night for East Grand Rapids.
Number 15, J.D. Maney, 2 for Ruff.
That's roughing against Many, so it is a 4-on-4 situation for now. Actually, it's boarding against Host. Brooks lets the shot go off the leg of Atkinson. So we'll play 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Then once Many's penalty expires, it'll be a Pioneer power play. Bjornsson working his way in, tried to run the gauntlet unsuccessfully. Brewer back the other way. He allows all the Pioneers to get behind the puck before he hands it off near side for a long shot by Conant. That's easily scooped off the ice by Bird. 5:12 remaining in the third. Bird with Bjornsson, 2-on-3 rush. Bird goes all the way, and he stuffed it off the outside of the goal frame. right in front of the net. That's tough for the goalie to track, and Voles could not get his pad all the way over, but Bird just could not fight the momentum there and got it inside the right post. Bjornsson, toe drag attempt. That doesn't work. Defended by Warden. Lifted wide of the net by the Wildcats. That's Hill for the Pioneers. Taking over in 33 seconds, the Pioneers will get their second power play of the night. They're 1 for 1. Rowan lost it in his skates. Trying to emerge out of his own end. Talon Sweetike lofts it off the glass. It settles onto the stick of Hill. It was okay to just kill some time, maybe. Levan dumps it right back to Caden Gosens, one of the co-captains for East. Returns it to Levan. Plenty of ice to take advantage of it 4-on-4. Right out in front, deflected by Rowan off the pad. It thumps as Voles got in the way of it. Power play begins for East Grand Rapids. Levan won the puck in the one-on-one confrontation with Brewer. Brooks meandering into the offensive zone. Porter Brooks, he's right there, and he's stopped by Voles. Robert Voles could be one of your 3 stars, honestly, tonight. Bird lets fly, deflected by Jake Gosens. Now the Pioneers have some candidates, though, for that, if we did do 3 stars. Gosens bumps Warden off the biscuit. Bird follows up to it. Bird to Brooks. He's got a couple of assists tonight. Brooks looking the net over. Instead he'll feed to Bjornsson, who opened his hips up to take that pass, but he could not receive it. And interference is called against Bjornsson on the reverse hit, as it's ruled that he prevented Rybczynski from getting a chance to play it. So there goes that power play. Bjornsson to the box. I think in this case, the referee trying to manage the game, not wanting any other confrontations to break out. So that takes us back to 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. And in fact, the Pioneers will have a very brief power play on the back end of this for 9 seconds. Gosens off the boards with it. Behind the goal, Hill. Up ahead, Levan. 3 minutes to go in the game. Levan steps up, and the bouncing shot just off target. Retrieved by Rowan. Caden Gosens, a shot, saved by Voles. Loose puck in front of him. Gathered by Warden, but he couldn't clear. Warden once more. Smushed into the wall by Rowan, and the Pioneers have it. Hill gunning it wide. Rowan wanted a penalty perhaps against Warden for tying his stick up, but none forthcoming. Still 1:22 left on the 4-on-4 situation. That's when Bjornsson will come out of the box. Heiser right on frame with that shot. Booted out by Finch all the way into the neutral zone. Hoekstra to J.D. Meny. Right back to Hoekstra. In deep. Atkinson clears it away. No icing, and Finch failed to stop it in the corner, but no harm there. Brooks to Meny. Up into the atmosphere, and Hoekstra lassos it, gave it to Brinker. Back below the goal line, Meny colliding and canceling with Atkinson, but Hoekstra turns it out to the point. Brooks's pass, he stubbed it. And the Wildcats clear again. 1:35 left in the game. Hoekstra gave it deep into his own end. Well, we already had a couple of Pioneers out due to illness, and with the score of the game being what it is, we're seeing guys get plenty of ice time in the third period who might not otherwise get it. So these are valuable moments for young players, inexperienced players at this level. And Pablo Alzamora even took the opportunity to get his first varsity goal. In a 6-0 game, the East power play just went by the boards quickly. Blink and you miss it. Penalty expires to Austin Host. We're back to 5-on-5. The long shot from Caden Gosens that deflected off the glove, I believe, of Voles, and it jumped behind his net. He didn't know where it was. Brewer leads it ahead, tried to, picked by Rowan. Morse wanted to make a dipsy-do into the face-off circle, but Brewer takes it back for Jenison. Pioneers hope to have a game like this to start their tournament, and they hope it's a decent run. Penalty coming against East with just 19 seconds remaining. Third penalty called against the Pioneers, but the first one that will result in a Jenison power play. Hooking the call against Rowan. A forced spot here in the third has made the result elementary in the end. And you look at the two teams' records, you hope that would be the case if you're a Pioneers fan or a player or a coach. And that was the case. It took a while to get on the board, nearly half the game, but ever since then, it has been no contest. Brinker clears it around and out. Down it goes. It's a power play for Jenison, so no icing. Final seconds tick off, and that's it. Pioneers win. Pioneers win 6-0. 2 goals each for Trevor Bird and Bryce Bjornson. Also scoring Ethan Brinker on the power play, and Pablo Alzamora, his first as a Pioneer. Part of an early flurry in the third period that took all the drama out of this Tier 2 OK Conference quarterfinal game. East will play again on Friday at Griff's West in Holland. 6:30 p.m. face-off on the blue rink against the winner of Hudsonville and Grand Rapids Christian, which is the game that is coming up next. I'm Matt Gajtka. Thank you to all of you for watching and following the Pioneers as they'll try to make it 4 wins in a row on Friday in Holland. That game will be joined, probably in progress. Like I said, it could have a scheduling conflict with my other duties for Catholic Central, so we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, though, you can count on us being there for the final couple of games for the tournament in some form or fashion. Good night. God bless from Griff's Georgetown. And